Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Jace Beleren Must Die, which I'm sure he will. Finally. All we have to do is unlock the secrets trapped in Rourke's head, become friends with him again, and then Jace is done for. So maybe he won't die this episode now that I say that. If that's all it takes, being a good friend, then maybe Jace will live a long life of retirement on a boat somewhere with half a shirt like he deserves.
Is there any relationship?
One for the team and take one for the team, then this would be a lot faster and easier, but you won't.
I'm trying to think that is there a single good and pure friendship? Yes, it's Torgor and Gorbor, the brother duo.
Absolutely.
That is the one good relationship we have on this show.
But that's blood. That doesn't count.
Yeah, that's not friendship. Okay.
Yeah, that's not friendship.
That's fair.
Atrax and Tack?
Mustache and was Mustache next to Whittaker?
Certainly no relationship that involves a player character has any kind of sanctity or goodness.
I was gonna say Gary and everyone he loves.
Gary.
Except that Whittaker hates Gary.
Yeah, I fucking hate Gary. What a douchebag.
Yeah. I mean, this is all leading up to the big reveal that Gary is Jace Beleren and has been all along.
Wait.
So
No.
Someone's chat name is Jace Beleren Must Bang, and I'm gonna lose my mind.
No. Who are you? Who are you?
I don't know, but I'll give you about 10 minutes to change it before I have to get rid of it. Sorry.
there is a long history of people making fun novelty Twitter and Twitch accounts for shows, and every time it happens, I love it so much. It makes me so happy.
I love
It's
it
so
too.
good.
I won't really ban you, I promise.
So thank you for that. How's everybody doing? How's things? Masood, how's Chicago? As my leading source of Chicago news, how's the Windy City?
It's great. It was 50 this weekend. It was phenomenal.
Was it really?
Katie May, can you
really
confirm?
Yes, I'm reporting in from Chicago.
That's why people tune into this show. It's for updates on reality TV shows and Chicago weather on the hour.
You gotta have the news, and we're the best team to deliver it to you once a week about none of the important stuff.
JBMD News coming at you semi-live from Chicago.
And now with traffic, how's LA doing, Carlos?
It's okay. I'm not there anymore.
Man. No, Chicago's good. I'm actually leaving Chicago tomorrow.
Oh shit.
I'm going to Miami this weekend for my friend's bachelor party, and I'm very excited. We are going to be eating good food and hanging out and playing board games, which I don't know why he put it in Miami, but I'm very excited right now.
I feel like if you put those three things in a list and ask somebody which of these things doesn't belong, Miami, bachelor party, board games. It's like,
But you know what? It's gonna be great. I'm gonna eat so many good Cuban sandwiches. I'm gonna have like such a great tan afterwards because I'm mainly gonna be laying on the beach trying to get sand off my like character sheet. It's gonna be fun.
That sounds so nice right now, though. Just like absorbing like vitamin D.
Oh,
like,
I just like, suddenly I was like Sunday. I was like, man, I just feel like I'm coming out of such a depressive funk. I don't even know what it is. And then I was like, oh, right, the sun.
Yes, it's the receding darkness and the arrival of light and how your brain and body need those to survive and be happy. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Yeah. Have you been to Miami before?
No, this is my first time. My cousin did give me some good advice, though. He said, because he had went a couple times, and he mentioned for a group of 13, that's how large the party is. If we want to go out ever, if like we decide like one of those nights, go to a hotel bar because they have a larger capacity and like the ability to like manage that. And then from there, if you decide to go somewhere, I was like, okay.
What part of Florida is Miami in? Is it like far down at the bottom of the little noodle, or is it somewhere in the middle where I don't know anything about Florida?
Spoken like a true Canadian.
I don't know. It's literally the farthest away from me that any part of America can be.
I've never heard anyone refer to Florida as the noodle.
curly bit that sticks out at the bottom. What else am I gonna
No,
call
it
it?
makes sense. We call it the dick part of the
Yeah,
United States.
That's
Keeping it
what it's
classy.
called in the history books. It's called the dick part.
He's referring to the syrup spoon of Florida.
Yes.
Mhm.
It is. It's near the bell end. We'll say
Okay.
that.
Yes. All right. Okay. All right. So that means then you have the opportunity to eat a bunch of really good Cuban food, I bet.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Get on those Cubanos. Get them, because that shit is delicious.
Ever since Chef, I've been like, why don't I live in Miami? Ever since I watched that movie, I was like, I just want
Oh
to.
yeah.
And so I'm very excited. And then we've also got a couple other like restaurants that we want to check out. I'm trying to get him to go on this like gator tour, and hopefully that happens, man. That's gonna be the shit. I want to get a picture of him holding an alligator.
Gator
I think
too.
it's-
You just gotta
Get
do
it to
like an obnoxiously touristy thing. That's
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah, you gotta
Gotta do
find
Uh-huh.
what's. Oh no, that was something different. Never
Why
mind.
y'all want to hug and touch things that gonna kill you?
No. I want to get a photo of everyone who's like holding a gator, or like doing something memorable from this trip. So then in May during the wedding, I can show up and be like, "Hey, remember the bachelor party? Bam! You got a T-shirt of your face right next to a gator." Or,
Here's
like,
a
goofy
t-shirt.
nicknames we came up over the weekend for each other on the back. I was like, "You're never wearing this out in public, and I can't wait to give it to you."
I really appreciate that you're just going to embrace the entire train wreck of the Miami bachelor party. That's good. I think that's the way to do it.
I can't believe you have to come up with 13 fun, cool nicknames over one weekend.
Oh,
that's so awful.
Oh,
He's
they're gonna be
already
great.
come up with
They're
them.
gonna be
He
great.
just now has to look for an organic way to.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be organic. Will's gonna be jazz man. He has no idea why. It's gonna be a good time.
I feel like that's an incredibly nerdy thing to do, planning your nicknames in advance.
He's got a spreadsheet. You know what's
There
up.
you go. Hey, what's up, Cool Runnings? Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Why do you keep calling me that? I don't know, because you're making me crazy. That's why. Let's go. Come on.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's
You
It's
can
all
have
those
that one.
airbrushed
Pardon me.
t-shirts with the nicknames on them.
Get a
Good time.
caricature of you and your best friend with giant heads
Yeah.
and tiny bodies. It'll be perfect. You're gonna have a great
It'll
time.
be absolutely wonderful. And hopefully none of them watch this show. So
There you go.
For now,
Your
yeah.
secret plans will not be revealed. That's good. That's good. Carlos, have you run into any famous people yet?
I think I saw. I think I saw Jeff Daniels in a car because he kind of looked like Jeff Daniels, and there were two people on the corner waving very quickly at him.
Mhm.
That's the closest I got, I think.
I do have a question I want to ask you, Carlos. And I asked you if I could ask you this.
Oh, yeah,
Because
that's
I really
fine.
want to hear about it. I ran into Serena at C2E2 this weekend.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how LA is, and I was talking about how you always brag about your fun, cool, sun-laden hikes. And Serena told me that there was a hike in particular that you had to climb your way out of.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
just wanted to hear a bit about that.
Well, I want to hear what was her like, version of this.
Before I tell you this story, tell me what you already know.
Yeah, tell me what you think you know.
Tell me the
that
truth so I can downplay it.
Mhm.
that it was getting dark, you were lost, and you had to climb out of the trail.
Okay, it was not getting dark. It was like in the morning. But yeah, what had happened is like I went up this trail and it was really steep. And when I finally got up to the top, I was like, oh my God, that would be crazy to walk down. And there's all these other trails. Like I see people everywhere. And I'm like, oh, I see this like, and it's on me because like I totally stereotype this woman. I saw her like climb out of this one side. I was like, oh, that must be the easy trail because of this older woman who came up this way. You know what I mean? It was not a real trail. Maybe she was looking at a bush over there because I had reached a point of no return at a certain point. And I look and I can see from the other trails, people walking, except for mine, which was not a trail. And I'm just like falling down a mountain, basically. like, but also at the same time, I'm falling down a mountain. I'm embarrassed because I know there's people on the ground. There's just watch the people on the trails in the mountains. So like, there's just got to be people watching me like stumble and fall and roll down this mountainside.
Phone ready?
Rolling happens.
Yeah.
Some slippage happened. Not a full roll, but I definitely fell a couple times.
Good.
I'm okay with that though. That's how you learn.
That's how you learn. And sometimes it's nice to remember things about yourself as they flash before your eyes. You know?
Yeah. I don't remember much though. It was.
At no point your life felt threatened.
I felt a little embarrassed. I felt I would be so angry if I broke my ankle. Like I was getting angry. I think I was just getting angry. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't do activities outside very often, so I was also angry at that too. Like,
for
this
sure,
is why I don't do things like this. I can't be a new person. No one can be a new person.
God, there's something very, very petulant and very specific about that feeling of trying something you don't do very often, not doing it very well, and then feeling like vindicated and angry and being like, this is dumb, just like I said it was gonna be. I hate this, and I knew I was gonna hate it. Man, it feels horrible to be right, but also I feel so good.
Yeah. It's the only thing keeping me alive. I did think about like what would happen if I was stuck in stuck up there. Like if like the trail just ended and I'm just like lost or whatever, because I used to hike a lot. And I remember when I had gotten into hiking, there was that story of that woman who was doing the Appalachian Trail, and she got lost, like very quickly got lost, and had only traveled like a mile and a half off the trail. And she ended up like living there for like 80 days or something before she died. Yeah. And when they found her, it was literally like 2 miles off the trail. And that scares the hell out of me because I was definitely 2 miles away from something. I don't know. So if I'm the first person to die in LA, like they couldn't find me.
You just find a pile of very nicely dressed bones next to the Hollywood sign. Like, well.
It looks as if he carved his own character sheets into these trees. Like, he must have been bored. I wish he was trying to signal people. He obviously has no life skills and survival skills.
Is that a cell phone? He looked like he smashed it to make a dice. I don't understand.
Please don't die in the wilderness of Los Angeles. I really don't want to have to hear about your bones being found in a canyon somewhere off the I-95.
Looks like he used his last battery, the last of his battery, to look up, what is this, parasite? Why is he looking up on parasite?
He died as he lived, looking at IMDb. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're still alive and that you might or might not have seen Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges is the guy from Tron, right? That's the actor.
No, I'm sorry, not Jeff Bridges. Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels.
Okay, yeah.
Which one is Jeff Daniels then?
Jeff Daniels is
Newsroom guy.
Newsroom guy.
Yeah, Newsroom, Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, I'm here, baby. I know an actor this time. Jace Beleren Must Die is fucking over.
Hey, someone's getting a cardigan in the mail. Welcome to the Grandpa Club.
Welcome to Grandpa's Club.
Newsroom was bad.
I didn't even know people saw that show.
I liked it. I like
that all it takes is Katie May for you to remember one thing, and all of a sudden it's just like angry bad takes for the whole rest of the episode.
What you got against Newsroom, Katie? What do you got against Newsroom? Besides the fact it's an idealized fantasy of what the news would be like.
Here's the thing. If you go back and listen to that, like if you go back just sort of like, it was good when it was on. Yeah. But if you go back and you rewatch that scene where
the opening
one guy tells the airline pilot that they killed Osama bin Laden, and that's why they almost got arrested, because they were trying to get that news. Yeah. Like that one scene where, and then the pilot's like, "Oh my god!" It's the most like contrived. I'm not okay. I can't.
Newsroom is the one with the guy from Kids in the Hall and the lawyer from The Simpsons, right? Is that newsroom or is that? No, I'm thinking of news radio. That's the other one. That one is bad. News radio is bad, but newsroom is good. That's the one with
she was talking about Andy Dick.
Yeah, right. I always get the two mixed up, and so whenever someone is talking about one, I automatically just assume the other for some reason. Dave Foley, that's his name.
Dave Foley
and Joe Rogan.
Was Joe Rogan on that show?
I want to say it was.
Oh man.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, newsroom was Aaron Sorkin, right?
Yes.
Who also did West Wing?
West Wing.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. And that really bad movie about the Apple guy.
Yeah.
Oh, Social Network?
No.
Joe Rogan.
No, Michael Fassbender played him. Why can't I remember this guy? He's like a huge famous billionaire. He died of
Tim
cancer. Steve Jobs.
Steve
That's
Jobs.
his name. Thank you.
Famous billionaire.
Steve Jobs.
I don't know why I couldn't remember that. Listen, I have so much room in my brain where I have to remember the names of Planeswalkers and where they are at any given time. I don't have any room for real people. Get out of here. Ask me about where Ral is at any given minute. I can tell you, but Steve Jobs, no, just total blank.
I do have to say, at C2E2 this year, my players approached me an hour before the live show and were like, hey, can you write it in so that we kiss in this one? and I just want you to know that if we ever do the live show, I'm going to do the exact same thing to you.
like you have a script? Like if any one of you came to me and was like, hey, can you just make it so that my character and Masood's character, we make out? And I'm like, they're your characters. Just do it. I'm not going to be like, listen, all right. So the waiter comes in and he puts a plate of spaghetti in the table between you. He's like, oh, I only have one plate of spaghetti. And he walks out. Like, what else do you want from me?
I want you to know that I did that but with nerds ropes. And that's why they had to kiss. I did that exact thing.
It's because it's the only way you can orchestrate that. I guess aside from like, you arrive in Waterdeep and find that your inn room only has but one bed. What shalt thou do?
No, it's just like, oh, you remember on this day you volunteered for the kissing booth.
Right, Dovin Ben takes out his revolver and points it at you and says, now kiss.
Yes.
You must do it.
Oh, you guys don't remember that wonderful part of the Matrix where that exact thing happened?
So thanks to that reference there, Masood. I am now 3 for 3 for the last 3 days of somebody bringing up the Matrix.
Really?
For seemingly no reason. Yep, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So all I got to do is just keep it up. I've got a 3-day streak of just random Matrix references. Weird. I guess they're making a new one. So.
They are.
Are they making a new one?
They are, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a
or it's a new one.
It is a new one.
It's a new one because it's got Keanu and the actress that plays Trinity, whose name I can't remember, Carrie-Anne Moss. There's a leaked photo of them on a motorcycle, like in costume. They're doing the filming for it. And
is Lawrence Fishburne coming back? Yes or no?
I have to assume that they at least asked, because if the other two are, I can't remember the second and third Matrix movie, so I don't know who's alive or who's dead. I was pretty sure that Trinity died, but those movies are so bad I can't.
They'll
remember.
write it out. Something will happen. Neo also died. Sorry, spoilers.
But Neo is Jesus, so he just came back to life, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But what if
I'm having philosophy and film flashbacks. I was always so hungover in that class. And the Matrix unit was the worst.
Today's class, we're going to be discussing Gnosticism and the Matrix.
God.
The Matrix and the Truman Show came up probably the most if you studied any philosophy in college.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, which is with the fucking cave theory? Which one is that?
Plato?
The cave?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember those two things being intertwined, and I'm having like a gross visceral feeling. School is good. You should go, but also.
No, you
How
shouldn't.
many times did you cry at school, Katie May?
Me.
Yeah.
Cry at school?
Yeah, I honestly don't think
Like in a class?
cried at school.
I've cried in
Happened-
class before.
I've cried in class before. I'm trying, like now rolling back. It was once in fourth grade.
I cried all the time in
Oh.
high school, but that's
Yeah.
because I
In
went to
grade
Scientology
school.
high. If we all remember.
Whoa! What?
Oh.
I didn't know you went to Scientology high school.
Oh no, we talked about this last time where I went to a performing arts high school and I had like a irredeemable years of trauma done unto me.
Evil lady.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cried all the time there, which is par for the course.
Mm-hmm.
I cried in the bathroom
Netflix,
'cause
I
had,
wouldn't
like,
say no
OCD
if you
stuff.
wanted to make a Scientology High TV show. I would watch that. I would absolutely 100% watch that if it were a
I would
TV show
actually-
about a high school run by Scientologists. Woo! L. Ron Hubbard High? Yes, please. That would be a train wreck. I would love to see that.
Would you pay the extra premium? Because it would cost extra.
I mean, I guess if I could watch it in 4K and it was HDR, but I don't
it's
really
the
know.
only way the church will sign off on it is if they get a cut per viewship, and so those
True.
episodes specifically will introduce deluxe.
Oh
Netflix,
no,
the next phase of
Mhm.
Netflix.
Netflix Gold.
Mhm.
I don't want
You
it.
want to watch your HBO show?
I want
on Netflix?
Scientology High, but it's only done by the CW people.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Riverdale style. Oh
Like
yeah.
a Riverdale style.
Hell yeah.
Scientology.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna smile, but I haven't seen Riverdale, so
I've watched one or two.
Riverdale-
Isn't it like
It's
about
an
D&D
emotion.
now? Like isn't it like wasn't there a whole season where it was just about Dungeons and Dragons? And like Jughead was the dungeon master or something? I remember seeing a lot of that on Twitter.
I'm just
will-
practicing doing the thing Carlos does when he doesn't get references, and it's been like this for the past 30 minutes. Just like, yeah.
Hey.
Fair.
we just celebrated our year-long anniversary, and I'm finally stepping out my cage. I'm free. Got Jeff Daniels.
Yeah, that's
Nothing's holding
right.
me back.
It's normal to feel like this on your 16th birthday.
I'm gonna drive soon, everyone. Don't worry.
Yay! It's okay, Katie May. I have some advice for you because Bang Energy just tweeted, "On the outside, I may seem okay, but on the inside, I really need a Bang Energy."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. You probably have
Yeah.
like only one thing on your
That's
timeline.
my only notification.
I just forgot that you have like nothing on your timeline.
That's the one. Timeline's useless. Notifications is all I read.
Man, brand tweets. I wish that I had worked in advertising during a time where Twitter marketing was like as big a thing as it is now, because I feel like there's some real room to be supremely weird on Twitter if you are a brand Twitter. And like watching brands try to figure out how weird to be and overshoot it. Ooh, it is a delight.
I think Wendy's does it best. I think like stereotypically what I think of as like a good corporate Twitter, I think of like Wendy's when they roast other like fast food chains.
At the height of that popularity, it was the last time I ever cosplayed, and I cosplayed a Savage Wendy. And there were 3 other Savage Wendy's, I think, at that con, and it was excellent.
Is Wendy's the
There's
one that
one
does
good-
who does the origami from their box stuff? Is that Arby's or is it Wendy's?
It's
When they-
Arby's.
Is it Arby's?
I think it's Arby's, yeah.
Those ones are cute. And it's
I
clear
like
that they
those.
spend a lot of time paying attention to like movies and TV and video
Yes.
games and stuff, because
They're
they'll be like right
All
on
time for
that
their
shit.
food,
Yep.
but whatever.
Yeah.
There's one good brand Twitter. It's the Moon Pie Twitter account.
Moon Pie's pretty good
That's-
too, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
what's the moon? Why is the moon pie? What's good about?
It's just
moon?
it's just so good. Like one of their last tweets was they retweeted the NASA job application tweet that NASA tweeted out and said, "Finally, I'm so tired of tweeting about marshmallow sandwiches." It's just really good. I like it a lot. We've already called dibs on being the first brand on the moon. If you are a brand and want to be on the moon, you have to let us go first because we call dibs. It's just it's very
It's interesting in this kind of like anthropomorphizing way where like if enough brands act like people, you can see them doing like people behaviors. Like you'll watch like Coke and Pepsi are like having a tweet back and forth, and then like Mr. Pibb gets involved, and then Coke and Pepsi are like, "Shut up, Mr. Pibb! Nobody invited you to this conversation." Right? And like watching
that
them.
makes me nauseous.
Oh, it's
Wild.
so weird. Yeah.
True. Dark
I
soda
hate
is
it
disgusting.
so much.
Do you think anyone like signed? There has to be some level of, I imagine because it's corporate, someone signing off like, okay, we're going to start this Twitter feud campaign and we're going to build it off of this. And then secretly it's about shitting on Mr. Pibb, who we're going to rope in because they need some brand like risen awareness as well. I'm like, I don't know. I think none of it's organic. So
Oh,
I
you
might be
think it's-
wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, I go back and forth on that stuff too.
Yeah.
Like, did you see that whole like thread when like Disney Plus was being launched, and then like every Twitter account that Disney secretly owns was like tweeting about it?
I think that's where it's orchestrated, right? Where it's like that most of those brands are probably operated by the same team, so it's not like they're individual people. Like, but I do think there's probably some crossover like marketing that happens where like Arby's and Wendy's and Burger King will get together and be like, yeah, we're gonna take a group shot at McDonald's,
right?
And that'll be a thing, and their agencies work together. Yeah, so it's probably mostly made up, but it depends on how much the company gives their agency like room to play around, right?
And
like
smell like peanut butter.
Thank you, TK. Yep. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say, or?
Nope. Having a delightful day. They really do. Or sweat. I don't both. Because I went straight from working out to this with like the minimalist makeup that I could get away with. And so now I don't know if they.
Here, let me smell them.
Yeah. Give us.
Weird. It smells like microphone.
It smells like cat dander a little bit.
Oh, I did pet my cat.
There it is.
Let me just legitimize this thing that you just pulled out of the sky because you already know I own a cat.
It's one of the most
improv,
famous
baby.
Improv called Yes and. Yes and.
Back in the 1950s, there was this thing called the Gemini Players, okay? And they came up from Second City after a technique of art built out of the Hull House by Jane Addams.
We're talking about professional comedy now, and I'm just gonna practice my Carlos face again, like. Yeah.
Just the polite smile, the nod. I'm a part of this conversation.
While you guys are having improv jokes, I'm watching a trailer that this woman made when she was 10 years old about her parents' divorce.
Yes!
No! It's a movie trailer for the divorce. And she made it in iMovie when she was 10, and it's just like their family photos.
In a world.
Yeah, it's like
where your mom and dad don't love each other anymore.
It's like this summer.
Coming soon from It's Not Your Fault.
One family will have to face a decision to continue the war or become peaceful.
Coming this holiday season, 2 Christmases.
Yeah, she even has like quotes from other places. She's like, "Oh, truthful," says the MBD. That's the National Bureau of Divorce.
Yeah, right. Like, and I think there's some comments in chat. I think it's thinking about this. It's like, yeah, kids deal with stuff in a lot of different ways. If my parents got divorced when I was a kid, 100% I would have written a D&D adventure about it. So you know what, kid, you cope however you want. Today's day of Game of Dungeons and Dragons, it looks like your quest is to reunite my mom and dad. So let's just process my feelings. Everybody, get your dice ready.
Winner of the sad yet honest film.
Oh my God, this 10-year-old is gonna
Is she in movies now, or
no? Just sad, just a sad person.
Sad.
That's it.
Yeah.
Is she a child psychologist now? Like, what is she, an art therapist?
Well, you got to go to a different 4chan sub channel to ask where she is. Like, we don't have that information.
Yeah,
this is just Twitter.
Leave that lady to her sad life that started with a trailer about her parents' divorce, which actually is an extremely cool move. Good job, kid. Nice
done.
job.
Yeah, that's so fucking.
It's actually very cool. That kid.
It's so smart too. I was just I was like, damn, at 10, I wish I was writing like that now. Are you kidding me?
It's definitely one of those things where you think about who you were at 10 years old, and you're like, what the fuck was I doing?
And that young lady grew up to be J.J. Abrams. Thank you for coming, everybody.
You know what?
We filmed music videos. I do remember doing one to Vanessa Hudgens'
Glad he's
sneaker night.
happy.
Ooh.
I
Yeah.
have long sought the sole surviving VHS copy of an English project that I did in the 11th grade about Gawain and the Green Knight, but themed as a Wayne's World parody that me and my friends made in 1998. And I have so far not been successful, but I know it's out there. And as soon as I get it, it's going right on YouTube immediately.
You just made me remember that I did a music video. I did a music video
Oh no.
for a
Oh,
Saves
no.
the Day song. Where I think one of the lines was like heart is on the floor, why don't you step on it? But we took artichoke hearts and we put it on the floor and it's just
No.
us stepping on it.
No.
Carlos, I think that in high school we would have been best friends. I think
mean,
we
it
were
was
the
funny. We were
we
taking
were
it
the exact
seriously.
same
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of totally uncool,
Oh,
which
my
I'm
God.
really into. Yeah.
Oh God, I wonder where that tape is.
There you go. You have a quest. Go and find it because I would love to see that video.
I remember my friend's mom coming home and we got scared and like ran away. Like, not that we did anything bad. It was so embarrassing that we were like, no, let's run.
Well, speaking of recording embarrassing things that in 20 years we're all going to regret, should we play some Dungeons and Dragons or
Yeah.
you
No,
wanna-
no,
I
no,
think
no,
of
we
things
still got
that I
2
did
more
when I
hours.
was in
Let's
high
chat.
school, and I was like, "Ooh, I shouldn't say that on stream."
Uh-huh.
I was
That'll
like,
be for
"Oh,
the
I
break.
remember this one thing I did with my friends." Can't
Nope.
say that. No,
Mhm, mhm.
can't
Yeah,
do that.
fair.
Don't want to get arrested.
So today we got to figure out whether Rourke's brain gets fried by is it magic, right? Rourke has many exciting memories locked up in his hot question mark uncomfortable shrug brain.
No. If we had to
Yes.
Actually, I don't trust Masood and Carlos. The second I started saying that,
Yeah.
I think they'd betray me in a heartbeat in a hot, not hot vote.
For Rourke. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
best.
Well, here's the issue.
It's
There's
best
no
to make
character
Rourke
arc.
Schrodinger's NPC and never try to quantify whether or not he's hot because
It means a
No,
lot
I'm
to me
scared.
that you trust me, Katie May.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
that's not the
Explicitly
point
said
of
you
what I
didn't.
just
we
said.
know what you think about Rourke.
No,
we
Yeah.
know.
Where?
We know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, last time we used the actual like empirical constant of magic card art.
Yes, yeah, there
So
is no.
until-
I mean,
Yeah.
the problem is that Rourke, yeah, we would have to have an official art to choose from for him,
Right.
and I think maybe we're envisioning different Rourkes. Also, I just think that TK has strange taste in humans, so so that's
There-
fine.
I will say the hottest that Ron Perlman has ever been was in The City of Lost Children.
City of Lost Children. Wow,
Mhm.
I haven't seen that in years.
One
There's
of
not
my
a lot of
favorite
hot Ron
movies.
Perlman options out there,
Yeah.
so
Excuse you.
I don't know.
I'm just
But
saying.
Also, I don't find Johnny Depp attractive except for the movie where he played a serial killer. I feel
Okay.
the same way about Johnny, or wait, what's his name?
Ronnie
Robert Downey Jr.
Mhm.
Like he
Oh,
was,
man,
he was really
Charlize-
hot and like a
Charlize
psychic
Theron is
serial
so
killer one.
Charlize Theron is so ugly, except in Monster. Then she was hot.
Yeah.
I don't think she's ugly. I just don't care about her in any movie except for
We got
Monster.
so close.
I'm sorry.
we almost.
please.
We
almost
almost
got
we
there.
almost immediately started.
So
Look,
Rourke,
Hellboy, he's okay.
Rourke is strapped to a chair, hot or otherwise. I will leave that up to you to decide. Rourke is strapped to a chair. He has an Is-It apparatus attached to his head. He is looking nervous, but in the same way that one is nervous before any kind of significant procedure, right? He trusts you to take care of this, whatever it is, and to restore his memories. Winnegar, you are at the operating console, so imagine a big set of dials and buttons, some Jacob's ladders because they're required, and
Ravnica.
the room otherwise is quite empty. You snuck in here after normal hours. You are in some laboratory in Nivix, the base of the Is It League, and while you do have a mission from the Rose, ostensibly we've never actually confirmed that. You have a list of you have that list of parts that you were supposed to recover. Yeah. Oh no, sorry, that came from the Dimir. Yes, that's from the Dimir. Yeah. You haven't heard from the Rose in a while. That's right. So you have that from I was getting the spy mission that Tack had confused, but so you have your Dimir list of parts. And that is tucked away in the back pocket. But for now, trying to figure out what Rourke was getting up to, because we know that Rourke has had interactions with both Ral and Jace and has had his noodle scrambled more than once. So we'll have to see what we can do. But basically, Winnegar, you're gonna operate the machine. Rourke is going to be the subject. I assume Torgor, Road, and Tack, you are either watching nervously or you are preparing to keep an eye out.
I'm not there. I'm distracting the guards. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the other thing. Or you're keeping busy. So yeah, Torgor, where are you while this is happening?
We made our way down to, I believe, the cafeteria to take a break, and I'm just like, at this point, eating with the other members, chatting them up a little bit, trying to.
Yeah, because you're in disguise, right?
Right. I'm disguised as a Vidalcan engineer.
Yes. Yeah. That's right, because you're Winnegar voice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, you're under deep cover with some other engineers, and then back in the lab, Winnegar, you have Rourke. And I think probably we start. Rourke looks over at you with all the electrodes on his head, and he says, It's not gonna hurt, is it?
Oh yeah. I mean, I won't feel anything, and I pull the strap tighter.
I'm not gonna feel anything. You slam the switch down. Okay, yeah. So Rourke's body suddenly seizes as electricity flows through him, and you can see, the little rotating paper array with the needle on it is kind of going. And I think that the way that this displays memories is there's a crystal, like a sphere, that is used to record. It's like a physical version of the Dimir encode thoughts spell. So you can record what you're seeing so that you don't have to then store it in your own memory. And as you're doing it, I think it projects holograms. It projects illusions into the room. And so what we see is the outer walls of the room and the sort of general kind of background falls away and is replaced kind of in a holographic, like tiling way, is replaced with the inside of Rourke's lab. So Rourke's little trailer with his desk. And so you're suddenly in the lab. Now your console is still here. The cables that run to the chair and Rourke sitting in his chair, that's all still here. Everybody's still in. But now all of you that are in the room, you can see this environment as Rourke remembers it.
It's like the holodeck.
Kind of. Yeah, exactly. And you can see there's a meter indicating basically like Rourke's mental stability, and you're tracking his heartbeat. You can keep an eye on him. He's stressed out, but he's safe for now. So yeah, you see this place, and you can see Rourke moving around in it, right? You see his own kind of image of himself step up out of the chair, and the hologram that he projects of himself is, I think Rourke has a pretty good self-image. Like it's not idealized. He doesn't appear as someone else. He appears more or less like the Rourke, maybe a little younger, maybe a little fitter. But yeah, you see Rourke, and he's got his work coveralls on, and you just see him kind of moving around in the lab, whistling to himself, doing something. It's clear that you've tapped into his memory, but it's going to take some work to get him to focus on what it is you're trying to get him to remember. So, Winnegar, using the controls, you can guide Rourke through his own memory to specific places. What are you looking for in this case? What do you go digging for Rourke?
So I don't know, like, a day or time that he's actually like looking in this.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So consider it more like you can go looking for certain things within his memory. But don't worry about like specific dates or times, because that's obviously never mattered before and certainly will never matter. There's no concrete dates, but you can go looking for certain things, right? So you can do like look for Ral or Jace or
Yeah.
Vinegar, if you want
Yeah.
to.
So I guess the start that I can think of is when I saw Rourke at his yard, at the junkyard. He remembered me, and Ral was there at the same time. So I want to try to find like that cross reference of Ral and Vinegar, like the same day.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you wanna try to find a time. Now, were you ever in the place, like the three of you, like all aware of each other in that place at the same time? Or are you just looking for places where like there's proximity between memories of Ral and memories of you?
Yeah, I guess the proximity of Ral and and me being in the same place, same time,
Mhm.
it would have been like the same day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are you looking for in particular? Like when you're scrolling through his memories? And I envision this as kind of being like as you're adjusting the dial, the around you, the hologram is like moving at a sped up pace, right? Like it's jumping, kind of like you're fast forwarding and rewinding and like moving it around, so you can see Rourke kind of blurring from place to place, and time is moving more quickly or slowly as you kind of scrub through his memories.
Oh, well, if that happens, if that's happening and it starts from the last time he was in that room.
Yeah, you're operating his brain like a VCR, basically.
Okay, then before I start taking it all, as I start taking it all the way back, like basically the cops just came through the door. I want to pause and start rewinding to see how all that equipment that I took from his desk got on his desk in the first place. Like, why was he building it and specifically choosing these parts?
Yeah. Okay, so in reverse, everyone in the room watches. You watch the pile of stuff on his desk get smaller and smaller as he like comes and goes from places, and it looks like he's going out into the junkyard and then coming back, putting something down on the table, making notes on this piece of paper, and the notes, like the checklist that he's got, loses checks one at a time as he in reverse returns items to the junkyard over the course of a while. And you watch this list as it then folds up and sits on the desk, and then he puts something on top of it to hide it, and then that rewinds a while, and then you see him take the thing off again in reverse. He picks the thing up, he unfolds it, he reads it, he turns, and then you see that there are other figures in the room with him suddenly. So he turns around and you can see, but they're blurry, right? We see three sort of blurry shapes, maybe two. They're clearly cloaked by like mana fields. So there is a clearly sort of blue cloud and then another red cloud, and they're kind of overlapping. And so it's hard to tell whether it's two people or three people or what's going on. And there's this sort of flickering of mana, but you can try to adjust, I don't know, insert science word here. You can try to adjust the focus or the clarity. You can try to break whatever is causing this mana cloud to block what you're seeing. So there's clearly, this is a memory that that's been altered, right? It's been edited so that he can't remember who he was having this conversation with. But if you like, you can try to use the machine to help him remember.
Yeah, let's do that, because the lens of your eyes is always open and it's always taking in the information. Whether or not you can process it in your brain is another question.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What should I roll?
I think operating this machine is probably Arcana.
Okay, here we go.
Big rolls. Big
9.
It's big 9.
All right. So you adjust some dials, you pull some switches, some meters adjust, and then he seizes up in the chair. The chair rattles, and then there's an angry beeping sound from one of the machines. And as you look, this process, there's some kind of physical failsafe that is hurting him. Like if you continue to push, you're risking his like physical well-being. Yeah. So you see him have this response where he like seizes up and kind of like the chair rattles a little bit and like blood drips out of his nose.
I'm gonna look over at Road.
It's your friend. It's your call. I would keep pushing.
I look over attack. Damn it.
Tack just dead eye just stares at you. Yep.
Sorry, I was taking notes.
Yeah, that's all right.
If
yeah.
Winnegar asks Tack's opinion, rewinding a little bit, did we ask Rourke to empty his pockets or anything before getting a bunch of electricity shot through him?
Nah.
I don't think so.
Okay, that's fine.
Mhm.
I won't go through his stuff. Then Tack's just like watching and it's just like, I think this is great, really.
Okay. I'm gonna like take it down just like a little notch.
Mhm.
So they do get a little fuzzy after I spring it back just a little bit.
Mhm.
And then see if I can use like context clues of their conversation instead of giving it more.
Yeah, so you wanna play through. Okay, so without making any further focal adjustments, you get a short scene of what so Rourke, whether he's consciously able to remember or not, what's unblocked in his memory is his half of the conversation.
Oh,
So
okay.
he says, so you rewind it back and he's pointing at the stuff on the desk. And when you hit play, basically he turns to the cloud of blurs and he says, listen, and his voice, he tries to say their name and it comes out like a scrambled noise. This will be a lot easier for me if I knew what all this stuff was supposed to be for. I'm working off a blueprint and I understand it's part of something bigger, but these are dangerous parts and I'm pretty sure some of them are illegal. And then there's another like screech of noise from the cloud, right? And you can kind of hear tones that remind you of human voices, but they're all garbled together and like confused. And he nods and he says, I know I already agreed to do this thing, but what if I get caught? And then the memory kind of like comes apart there, like the film gets caught and it sort of like blurs out, and it's clear that that's the end of the memory right there. So it looks like Rourke wasn't. He recognized that there was some danger here, that he was doing something bad.
Winnegar, if we're being asked to build this thing, then we should probably know who we're building it for.
Okay, we need some type of reference for these little blurry things, though. We don't even. I don't know what to do. Should we go back further?
Yeah, go back, but we need answers. And I think we should get them.
I turn the dial on the machine.
So you're gonna rewind some more. Okay. So you watch that whole little bit of him saying like, no, I don't feel comfortable doing this. You rewind past that. He takes the piece of paper, he folds it back up and he hands it to the blur, and then the blur kind of forms out of the room, and then he goes back to having a nap, right? We see him lie down. If you continue to jog back, you can see lots and lots of moments of him doing normal Rourke stuff, right? You see him meeting with customers. People come in, they talk about various junk. He sells some of the junk. People bring in loads of stuff, and you watch him just go about his life, albeit in reverse. So I guess people bring him junk, and he gives them money, and then he throws the junk in a pile somewhere.
Winnegar.
Yeah.
Winnegar, can you find the time where he got the tattoo? Can you find how long he's been this way?
Oh yeah. Can I? Sorry, this thing is beeping out here. Can I like try to jog back and see if I can like was there a day that he had like back pain?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you keep jogging back until you get to there's a night where he comes. It's all in reverse, so I have to try to narrate it backwards.
Yeah.
He comes back. Yeah, he comes back to his house. It's nighttime. He comes back and he's got his umbrella, and we see him. We see him come in and like folds up his umbrella, and he I guess you watch, and there are you have to watch a series of scenes looking for evidence of the tattoo. So it's there, and then suddenly it's gone, and you have to like jog forward a little bit. And the first sign of it, which would be the most recent sign you see of it, is him, I guess, taking the bandages off of the tattoo, right? And like looking in the mirror and seeing it and kind of like nodding and smiling. And then from there, if you go back, subsequently the bandages go back on, right? And then he has part of the tattoo, bandages, no bandages, less of the tattoo, bandages, no bandages. So it happened over the course of several weeks until eventually it's not there. And you wind back further and further until the point where the last time that when everything kind of went bad, when you basically like turned on him, right? When he decided Winnegar and Rourke friendship over, right? You rewind back to that moment where the group of you are like, you leave him here and then start playing forward from there, and you watch, and there's several days of just sad Rourke, like just a lot of like him moping around, not really working on anything, putting the close sign up early and just like laying in his bed, staring at the ceiling. Until at one point he's walking around in the rain, being sad, under his umbrella, and you hear a voice. You hear someone say, "Hey," and he looks up and you hear the phrase, "You look like you need a friend." And he looks up and there's a big blue blur like in front of him. And
I want to.
Yeah, and so you pause there, right? So you see this. Everyone sees this. You're now outside, right? Outside. You're in the room. There's hologram rain floating everywhere, and you see Rourke meet this blue blur, and then you pause there, and then Rode, sorry, you say something.
You need to uncover that, bud.
Okay. Wow. I am feeling a lot of things. Do you think I'm like responsible for him for this? Do you think I'm not?
No, you're not. I don't think you should worry about that right now.
I'm not.
You're fine.
I'm fine.
Rode is lying so that Whitaker will continue to do a good job.
I'm gonna crank the machine up.
Okay.
Just a smidgen.
Okay, make another Arcana.
Is there
check
any
for me.
way I can help?
Let's say this. You can help, Rode, if you want. You're not really experienced, but you can try to cheer Winnegar on. If you succeed, it'll be a regular success. If you fail, it'll be a worse failure because Rode doesn't know what she's doing.
Could this be like a medicine check to almost like stabilize? Rode can help in whatever way Rode would help. It's fine. It doesn't matter which way you do it. Right. So you're just glowering at Winnegar like, do it.
Remember it.
Turn up the dial. But I'm killing him. Do it. All right. So Winnegar, you reach for the dial. Oh, it's worse. Oh no.
Oh, God.
Okay. So yeah, I think what happens is that Rourke's like starts having a seizure, right? He starts like twitching in the chair. His eyes roll back in his head. He's just frothing at the mouth, and the machine just starts going like beep, 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 beep. Like
I gotta turn it off.
There's a big blinking line, and like the needle's going crazy. So Rourke, like Winnegar, if you push it just a little further, you can get it. But Rourke, his body is not. There's so much electricity flowing through it. If you want, somebody could try to keep Rourke alive while you push it, or you can back off and like let him recover on his own. What do you want to do?
I'll try to keep him alive while you push it.
Winnegar, are you okay with that? Because it's a 2-person job.
So this guy's like convulsing.
Yeah, he's convulsing in the chair, and like blood's coming out of his nose, and like yeah.
I like the text just putting like nails in their pocket and just watching. He's just like
yeah. I imagine Tack like trying to catch the illusionary rain in their mouth, like it's not real. It's not wet at all. This is weird. Trying to pick up an illusory coin off the floor. What the hell?
What okay, so this guy's convulsing.
Yeah, if Rode can make a medicine check, Rode can keep him stable while you continue to run the is it juice.
Should I make that now, or are you still deciding whether or not you're going to?
Make it now, because maybe I can.
Okay.
Maybe you do something good.
Yeah,
21, is
all
that
right.
good enough for you?
The big 21 from the low roller, Katie May.
So Road, here's the thing. So you run over, and what do you do to keep him alive? Like his heart is like palpitating, and yeah, this kind of sustained. It's the electricity running through him. It's short circuiting his brain, and his heart and his nervous system are like, we want to turn off.
I put a belt in his mouth so he doesn't bite his tongue and then choke on the blood, and then it's heart. It's heart compressions. Is what we're doing.
You're a monk, right? So for you, it's about like he's got you just punch him in the chest and it like restarts his heart, right? Because yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah.
But there is like a slight crunch, right? Because that's what happens. You got to hit him hard enough to keep his heart going. He's not gonna die now, but you're keeping him alive, not making him better. Winninger, you want to?
I love the now emphasis.
You want to try? You want to try again?
Yeah. So Winninger like looks over at Road, like and his natural sense is just like, oh no, I have to stop. Like I definitely have to stop. Like this can't go on like this. And then like he looks over at Road and he's just like, why can't I just be strong like Road? Like I'm Demir now. Like I can. My job is to get the stuff. Just get it, Winninger, and then he cranks it.
Yeah, just overdoes it. All right. Okay. Cool. Make an Arcana check. And I think shedding some of that that hesitation. Take advantage on this one.
Arcana, here we go.
No. Hey, there you go.
18.
Now you don't have those petty morals holding you back. You got an 18. Okay. So the blur, the blue blur, this is very much like a hacking montage, right? Where you see you adjusting dials and, turning knobs and you see the image kind of fluttering and blurring until it does indeed resolve. As the image of the living Guildpact, Jace Beleren. He's got his hood up. He's standing in the rain. There's no one else around. And he's reaching out a hand to Rourke like, you look like you need a friend. Why don't you come with me? And if you play it from here. Rourke does indeed go with Jace. You move past the end of this memory, and Jace takes Rourke to a place which you could find now watching Rourke's memories in Precinct 6. He takes him to what looks like maybe a barber shop in Precinct 6. The two of them come in. There's a man. It's got a closed sign, but Jace just walks right in. The man working in the shop, he's like maybe sweeping up for the day. He looks up and when he sees Jace, his eyes glow blue for a second and he nods and he reaches over to one of the chairs and he pulls the like chair raising or lowering lever and a panel in the back wall opens up and Jace leads Rourke into one of these secret Belerian hideouts. And it looks quite a bit like Ironclads, but maybe a little more surreptitious and a little less ostentatious. So there are blue hangings. There is a little shrine with like, a statue of Jace on it. And there are some other members of the conspiracy, the Belerian conspiracy in here, people with the blue armbands with the eye, and they get up and they welcome Rourke as a new initiate. And so you watch over the course of the rest, you wind forward through that time. Rourke doesn't see Jace again, but over the course of the next few weeks, the course of the next time, while all of the chaos that we've seen happening with Dovin and with Vraska and with the Guildson, while that's happening, Rourke is getting in with his new friends, the Belerians.
Trying to memorize as many faces as possible.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So this is one of these things where, Road, can you make a history check?
Yes.
Yeah, make that history check. Okay.
A 2?
Yeah, you don't recognize any of these
Low
people.
roller, Katie May.
That's right. Yeah. So you're just trying to remember them. And I think that while we see your face, right, Road, we see you squinting and like who the hell are these people? We see a spherical kind of like warped representation of everything that's happening, reflected in the little crystal sphere in the recorder. So everything that you're seeing here is getting recorded into that sphere. So Rourke basically falls right into the Belerian cult, and fairly quickly we see his initiation rites. We see him getting the tattoo. He's like making friends with all these Belerians, and you see as he gets the tattoo finished, you see a member of the Belerians say to him, and this is like the high priest or whatever of this cell, say to him at the end of this ritual, right? They take the blue hood off his head, and they're like, now your eyes are open to the truth, my friend. One day, soon, I think, our great Lord will come to you with a request. It may not make sense, but if you serve the living Guildpact as we all do, and when he says that, everyone else in the room is like, the living Guildpact, and they like nod. And he says, if you serve the Guildpact as we do, you will agree to this. I know that it must be hard for you not having all the answers, but soon everything will become clear, my brother. And Rourke nods, and he's like, yeah, I'll try. I'll do whatever I can. You guys have been so good to me. And he nods and he says, you're one of us now, brother. And Rourke nods. He's like, yeah, I like the sound of that. All right. And we see him go back to his lab. And as promised, several days pass without anyone coming to see him, until that moment. You wind forward until you get to that moment where the three of them return. And I think throughout this and prior, there are visits from Ral. And Ral, when he's alone, Ral makes no effort to hide that he comes to Rourke's. There's no mind magic stopping Rourke from remembering that he's ended interactions with Ral, but there's nothing about that seems like suspect, right? It's just Ral coming looking for parts, the two of them having like a short conversation, and then that's it. But you find yourself back in that moment where it's him, the red-blue blur, and Jace. There's still some piece missing from this puzzle. Rourke he's right on the edge, right? You can feel like his heart is pounding and his body is like trembling. He's under extreme physical duress. Winnegar is still at the controls. Winnegar, you wanna try to push one more time and see what you can see?
I look back over at Road.
I give no inclinations as towards my worry about Rourke.
Yeah, do you just like nod or don't say anything? Or, yeah, okay.
Still playing hard to get, thinks Rourke on that slab.
If I kill him, then he won't hit on me anymore.
Oh, Jesus.
The real secret.
Are you still concentrating on Pass Without Trace?
Yes.
It lasts. How long does it last? Like an hour?
It lasts.
Are you though?
Okay, it's probably run out by now. Then, yeah.
Okay, then no, I've probably not. When we got into the room, I was like, "Cool, we're done. The job is over." So no, probably not. If we're being honest, which I try to be every now and again.
Okay, all right. So, Winnegar, you wanna try to do it again?
Yeah, Winnegar looks over at Road, and even before like Road turns around, Winnegar just like is like, "What am I doing? I don't need Road to tell me what to," and he cranks it back up. Like,
awesome.
Yes.
All right. One more Arcana roll. This one just a regular roll.
Big rolls. It's a 12.
Okay, so 12 is enough that you have at least a choice. So you push it, the voltage goes up. Somewhere upstairs, someone's office lights blink out, and they're just like, "Oh man, I'm trying to work."
It's Morse code. Pay attention.
You draw a bunch of power into the lab. Maybe just for dramatic purpose, like a bulb pops or something, and Yeah, and so things are very dramatic. The whole thing is like flickering, and you can hear the hum of the electricity. So you have a choice to make here, Winnegar. You can break the mana encryption that's blocking whoever else this other person is that they're talking to. But if you do, Rourke will forget everything, like total amnesia, complete mental memory break. The only copy of Rourke's memory will be external to his body. You'll have a recording of it, but everything he knows about everything is gone. So you can learn who this person is. You can record the memory in the sphere at the cost of Rourke being able to remember literally anything, or you can turn the power back down and you can lose it.
Oh wow! What a big moment. What does he do? He's come so far. I think he. So all this stuff is going haywire and crazy. Winnegar runs over to the table to like look at Rourke, he like looks down and he like holds his hand and he's like, "I got you, buddy. I got you." And he runs back to the machine and he cranks it up again. Because what he meant in that moment was, "I got you. Like I'm gonna have your memories now."
That's right. At least you'll live on in my memory.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So yeah, despite the klaxons, despite the blinking lights, you push the power beyond safe parameters, and in Torgor, in the cafeteria, there is a loud popping sound as all the lights burst. And the emergency lights come on and everybody looks around, and I mean, it's an Is-It cafeteria, so it's probably like, oh, somebody overdid it on the power again. But yeah, you have the sneaking suspicion this has something to do with your friends. And when we cut back to the memory, that indistinct blurry shape next to Jace reforms, and you can see that it's two figures. One is familiar, right? One is Ral Zarek. So we see Ral there talking to Jace, but between them, as Ral, some of the blue and red mana form into Ral's shape, there's just this red kind of flickering cloud. And as you crank the power up, as you drive out that mana energy that's blocking Rourke from remembering, it congeals into the shape of a woman. We haven't seen her before. She has like shoulder length red hair, a pair of reddish orange goggles up on her head, and at a glance, Winnegar, she looks like somebody from the pyrology department, right? You're like, oh, she's like a pyrotechnician or something, but then you realize that there's something off about her. She's not. There's something else going on. She's wearing clothes that don't fit with the Is-It League, that don't fit with Ravnica, like in general. And she doesn't have a gauntlet, so she's definitely not part of the Is-It League. She's somebody we haven't seen before. And as she comes into appearance, she blurs in. The memory restarts from here as Rourke is reading over the list, and he looks up, and he says to Ral, he's like, "I don't know, sir. This looks pretty dangerous." And Ral looks at Jace like, we shouldn't be making him do this. And Jace scowls, and Ral like uncharacteristically backs off. You see Ral be like, "Fine, I'm not the boss here. I just introduced you." And Jace says to Ral, "Chandra has assured me that this will work." And Ral says, "But do we have time to finish building the thing?" And Jace says, "You focus on Project Lightning Bug, Ral. Chandra and I need our new friend Rourke here to finish the device." And then Rourke says, I need to know what I'm building." And Chandra, for the first time, she says, "All we need is for it to make fire. Lots and lots of fire. Do you think you can do that?" And Rourke looks at her and kind of looks at the ground, and he's like, I guess so." And he looks over at Jace, and Jace smiles slightly and nods like, "Good boy, Rourke. That's right." And he says, "I'll get to work." And Ral says to him, "You better hurry, bud. We're going to need this quick." And then Jace says, "We've been here too long. I'm going to wipe his memory. You two wait outside." And they turn to leave, and Rourke says, "What do you mean wipe my?" And then everything gets all blurry, and the tape kind of runs out and starts to like glitch there. So yeah, there's this third stranger, and Rourke has been working on some kind of like pyro magic device, which now, Winnegar, you have the parts for, and you know that it's in some way related to what the Dimir want. So Jace wants the same thing that they do, and you now have most of the parts to give it to them. And it's somehow related to the expertise of this third person, this woman who I think at this point it's fair to assume is another planeswalker who's part of Jace's little conspiracy. And so Tack and Road and Winnegar, you watch this, and then Winnegar, you realize that, you know, if you don't turn the device off now, it'll kill Rourke. And you can either turn it off, or I guess you could leave it if you want to kill him. But I assume that you don't want to.
No, I want to turn it off.
Yeah.
Can I actually take his memories though?
Everything that you just saw is recorded in the crystal orb. Which, when you turn the power off, everything falls to like emergency lights, and then the orb is glowing. It's this little like, not as big as a billiard ball, like a golf ball size crystal sphere with little bubbles in it. And when you look at it, you can see blue and red mana kind of flickering around inside of it, representing his stored memories. So you can just pull it out of the machine, tuck it in your pocket.
I love for like the end of it where everything starts like the tape kind of ends, or it like starts to end. It's fast forwarding up to like very quickly fast forwarding up to that point, into this now point. And like he sees like walking into this room, he like sees Road standing over him, and the last thing he sees is like Winnegar like standing over him, and Winnegar in the room does not recognize himself, what Rourke saw him looking at. And then like the machine shuts off, and he just like pops out the thing. It's like,
we got to get out of here.
Yeah, and it's a little like pulling out a hot piece of toast. Like it's still steaming. It's kind of like tuck it in your pocket. Yeah, and Rourke is taking these like deep kind of like drowning man breaths and shuddering a little as his body slowly cools off. He's steaming as well.
I'm like undoing all the straps.
Yeah, and he's very confused, right? It occurs to you, I think, at this point, Winnegar, as you're sort of putting all these pieces together, that the stuff that they were building, it was taking them time because they had to get it they had to get all the parts surreptitiously through Rourke. Someone had to throw them away, and they had to find them in the junkyard and whatever. But you're in Nivix now. You're in the HQ of the Izzet League. And most of the stuff on that list, you could probably find in the archives or the storage facilities of the Pyrology Department, which is not very far from you right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
As she's undoing the straps, I want to like make a short little list. I'll remember it, but I want to give it to Road as well, and be like, okay, this is everything that was on that checklist. I'm gonna go with you. Like, we should all go. Tack, you should go too. And text. I don't know what's text.
Can I take souvenirs?
Yeah, you can take souvenirs. But the souvenir shop is at the exit. Like, we'll get to that later.
Little stuffed Niv Mazzettes, like keychains with the Izzet League symbol on them.
Yeah, don't worry, I can handle it.
Okay. This is what we need, and I want to hand them both. Like, I'm gonna tear the paper in half and like hand them both like their own little shopping list, I guess.
Yeah.
Delightful.
Okay. Yeah. So Tack, basically, you've just been given a list of like, steal these things, and then Road, you get a copy as well. And Rourke is starting to come to, and he's blinking hard and looking around. He's very dazed.
Okay, not only did we just hand Tack a list of a Dimir job that we're supposed to be doing, we're also still in babysitting duty.
But Tack saw the list. Like, they already saw the list.
They don't know. They don't know that it's a Dimir mission. It's just a list of things to steal.
Bomb.
Yeah, I just know it's a bomb. or half a bomb at least.
Have a bomb.
What are we gonna do with your friend while we find these things?
Oh, good question. Wish Torgor was here. Where is Torgor? He's been gone for a long time.
That exact moment, the door opens up. Torgor walks in with a lunch tray. It's like, I figured everyone was hungry, and so I got a lunch.
Perfect.
Oh,
I don't even know what this list says.
Wait, did you guys
Like,
done
I don't know
already?
what the parts
Yeah, so
are.
Torgor, you walk in and they're unstrapping a very confused looking Rourke who's like steam is rising off of him and he's kind of looking around the room like he doesn't know where he is.
Mhm.
yeah, we're done. I got to fill you in on a lot of stuff. We're actually, we have to pick up some parts while we're here.
And Rourke looks over at you and he blearily, kind of half stunned, he says, what's going on? Am I at the dentist?
Yeah, there were a lot of cavities, and the anesthesia is gonna be pretty heavy for a little while, but we're gonna get you home safe.
And he nods and he's like, okay, doctor. Like,
Great.
Link stares around.
Torgor and I can take Rourke somewhere safe.
I can take Rourke somewhere safe. I got this.
I don't think you should go alone. So then it's an even split. We would just have to get Tack to promise not to kill Winnegar this time around, is the one thing we would need. It's a
Honestly,
promise.
Tack, like, y'all don't know this, but Tack was super impressed that Winnegar almost killed his own friend and was almost part of the club. So Tack's feeling pretty optimistic about this split.
It's like, don't worry, he's on my not kill list.
Am I on that list yet? Last time we great. And Torgor, where did
Oh,
he-
you know I'm on that list, and I like fist bump
Definitely.
Tack.
Torgor's like at the top.
Yeah.
Okay. And sorry, was there a reason that I'm not on the don't kill list?
Yes.
Or do you want to share with
No.
that? Okay.
Winnegar looks down at his shoes.
I don't even know if I have that list anymore.
Oof.
But you should really eat something.
Oh, these are like the meatballs they have at IKEA. Okay, cool.
I feel like everything that you would eat from the cafeteria at the Is It League is some kind of Willy Wonka bullshit where it's like you hand them a plate and it has 3 cubes on it. And you're like, oh yeah, food cubes.
Actually,
Delicious.
just like 4 shakes that are all Soylent. Like,
yeah.
Well, you
I guess
know
the
that
Soylent sampler.
mhm.
The Is It definitely does like the molecular bartending.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is
Yes.
deconstructed.
It's just 3 bags of steam.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you guys like the food at IKEA? This is a
I've
question
never
that
been
like
to
I
IKEA.
I've
The
never had IKEA food.
Mhm.
I
because
like.
people love the meatballs.
You can
Like-
buy them and take them home now. You can get them.
Yeah.
I feel like
bag.
I've had ice cream there,
I
but
love
not
the ice
any of the
cream
actual food. Yeah.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
like non-fat like ice cream on cones for
feel like-
$1.
I just live in like such a completely different part of the country than y'all. Cause
Yeah.
like you asking me if I like meatballs from IKEA is like me asking you if you like the popcorn from Orscheln's.
Orscheln sounds horrible.
You know, when-
Orscheln's is it's like farm equipment.
Orscheln's
Orscheln's Farm Equipment and Popcorn. Yep.
and Popcorn Emporium.
Farm Equipment and Popcorn. So yeah, you're like eating, and I think, or like taking protein shakes off the tray. And Torgor, when you come over, Rourke looks over and he puts a hand up and he's like, "I'm not supposed to eat for an hour."
That's
No,
right.
You're
Nope,
not.
that's right.
That's absolutely right.
And he
No.
as you walk by, he shakes his head and he's like, "What kind of dentist office has meatballs?"
I want to feed him a meatball, see if he pukes.
No.
No.
Torgor like gets in the way. It's like we've got our teams. All right, meet back at the host.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, let's meet back at the house.
So
Okay.
Torgor and Road, you are going to take Rourke back to the host in the shell.
Mhm.
And Yeah, right. You could hear the sarcastic quotation marks.
Yeah.
And Tack and Winnegar, you are going to try to break into the pyrology lab and steal the rest of the stuff you need.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the list, the other half of the list from Road, and take out a sliver of it, and then hand the bigger portion over to Tack. So like Tack doesn't know the two things to complete the project. And then like Winnegar just eats that other part. It's like
Tack comes back like, look at all this depleted uranium I have. What am I going to do with it? You're like, nothing. Don't worry about it.
You just give Tack like all the sharpest parts. It's like, okay, but you can't have the plastic on button.
Yeah. All the things that don't actually matter, like no detonator. I see. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. So you split up from here with Road and Torgor. Are you going to just take the same route that you took back, or how do you want to get back from Nivix?
I'd like to drop Rourke off at a Dimir.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I said I got this. Like, he's not going back to the host. There's so much stuff that you can get out of him.
Right. Well, we kind of fried him.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that the Dimir can make use.
No, absolutely. I really just don't trust Tack alone with Winnegar, and I was concerned that they're going to kill him. So
yeah, I think Winnegar can handle himself.
Are we having this conversation now outside of the? Is it? Or are we?
Yeah,
still
we've pulled.
I assume you're walking. You're walking down a
feet away from
hallway.
me.
You're walking down a hallway in the relative dark. There's probably
without it tracing us.
Yeah, there's a voice. There's a voice over there's like an intercom system, a little speaker. It's like power outages have been detected in sector 2-4. Don't worry, everybody. We'll have the power up and running in just a minute. So sit tight. Emergency lights should be on. Follow your safety protocols, everybody. And so they're aware that something is going on. And I think at this point, like Winnegar and Tack, you hear that, which means probably someone is on their way to investigate the source of the power surge, which is a great opportunity for you to ditch as well. Yeah. So you split up and everybody
just gonna dip. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let's grab our break here, and when we come back, we will see how much you get to steal from the Is It HQ, and whether Torgor and Road can find a suitably deep oubliette in which to drop Rourke forever. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.